Hello, my dear church boys, and welcome back to yet another episode of Saint Robert's Daygame and Dating Podcast. And this podcast episode will be a little bit different because we will be talking about pickup artists and pickup in general. Learning pickup and learning to meet and date beautiful and interesting girls are two very different things and have very different types of guys interested in it. I, for the most part, have stopped working with pickup artists. So let's talk about the differences between pickup and other types of meeting girls, or rather having different attitudes when meeting girls. Let's talk about whether you are a pickup artist and why pickup artists actually do worse with girls than other guys. First, let's define some things. So let's talk about pickup. So the goal of pickup is to sleep with as many girls as possible. And the most important thing is sleeping with the girl. That's the goal. That's the holy grail. And even if it means lying to her in one way or another. Some guys lie about simpler things, about like how long they are in a city. Others lie about their intentions. And I even know guys who lie about their names and the countries they're from. We'll call these people pickup artists. And then there are cool, success-oriented guys wanting to improve their dating lives. It doesn't necessarily mean finding a girlfriend. It can also mean wanting to go out and have casual fun with a bunch of girls. Or it can mean wanting to have casual fun for a few years, improve their dating skills and find someone they really like to start a relationship with in a year or two. Well, the difference is these guys never lie about how long they're in a city for. They're never pretending to be someone they're not. And obviously they won't be as creepy as lying about their name or where they're from or anything that crazy. They're just cool, successful dudes who want to improve yet another aspect of their lives. The difference between these two types of guys might seem obvious, but what I've realized after more than 5 years of coaching guys to chat up girls is many guys want to be like the success-oriented guy who is learning yet another interesting skill in his life. But in reality, the things they do make them yet another pickup artist. They want to be one thing, but in the reality, they're a completely different one. If you have a sister or a daughter, or maybe you'll have a daughter in the future, you can ask yourself a simple question. Would you want her to go out with someone like you? If the answer is no, you might be a pickup artist. So let's talk about it. Let's start by simply looking at a few interesting things about the OG, some of the OG daygamers, some of the guys who were daygaming back when London Daygame model was created. You could even say some of the creators of London Daygame model. We can look at Tom Torero, we can look at Andy Yosha, and there are a few other guys. There are a bunch of examples with guys who were very known daygamers back in the day, but then at one point they kind of realized they don't really want to associate with the culture of the aggressive culture that was very prevalent in the daygame back then. It was very pick-uppy. For example, one example is Andy Yosha, who was one of the creators of Daygame.com. They created it together with Yad, and then there was a moment when they had an argument and really couldn't divide who should earn how much money, and they split up. But from what I know, Andy quit Daygame and didn't want to be associated with Daygame in any way or form. I remember this because it happened when I was already daygaming, so kind of everyone knew it back then. You have some other characters from London, one of the biggest names that I don't really want to name because I haven't done enough digging on this, but he has made quite a few pro-Russian, Nazi, and crazy statements like that. So you have some guys going through some extreme directions, and most interestingly, this is a fact that most people don't know. But if we talk about Tom Torero, you could say grandfathers of Daygame, one of the really OG Daygamers that a lot of people respect. What most people don't know is around the time when Tom Torero turned 40, he quit Daygame. He stopped daygaming. Unfortunately, he ended his life up sometime after that, and many people think that he was actively daygaming up until that moment, but no, he had actually quit daygame way before that and was doing completely different things for a while before the unfortunate things happened. And if you don't know these names, then maybe you know Neil Strauss, the author of Daygame, the one book about pickup that everyone has read, the one book that inspired a lot of people. Well, you might not know that Neil Strauss as well at one point completely quit the world of pickup and then actually wrote a book about his opinions on pickup and how he quit it, why he quit it, and how he thinks it negatively infects relationships and guys in general. And you'll definitely hear a bunch of guys online say, no, these guys are just pussies, they were soft, they quit game, they started relationships, it's all nonsense, blah, 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 blah. But if you really look at the lives of these two types of guys, these guys who have been daygaming for, I would say, let's say guys who have been daygaming for a minimum of 5 years, guys who have done all the crazy stuff they want to do and they have all the experiences, but also they've seen a lot of shit, you know, but they've done that with this pickup artist attitude. And then you can also look at guys who are coming into this world with a very different attitude, with a very different outlook on women, on relationships and life in general. You will quickly understand who you want to be more in the future. Most of the big names in the industry have sooner or later moved away from the world of pickup, not necessarily from the world of daygame, but from the world of pickup. But all of these things, it doesn't mean that everything that came from this world of pickup is bad. The biggest lessons on how to meet and date not just beautiful but also interesting women came from these guys. Not everyone uses fake stories and lies to girls about how long they're in a city for and their intentions with them. There are plenty of cool guys interested in learning to meet great girls in a way that, well, if anyone asked them, would you want your sister to go out with someone like you? They would be happy to say, hell yeah. I personally definitely used to do a lot of pick-up-y stuff for a long time, but my first aha moment came years ago during a magic mushroom trip, actually. I realized if I'm too focused on sleeping with the girls, I'm not even enjoying my dates anymore. And this aha moment, this click, changed how I view dates. I started going out to enjoy the time with girls, to connect with them. I was genuinely interested in clicking with them. And not only I started enjoying my dates again, but I also started getting much better results. If we clicked fast. If we didn't, we parted ways on a friendly note. And I'm not talking about only spending time with yes girls who already liked me from the start. No, I simply built genuine connections with more girls faster. I had changed my attitude and how I date. And because we clicked in most cases, girls knew what's up. They didn't think I was gonna marry them, but because we liked each other, they were happy to live, well, the adventurous part of their lives with me. So let's look at these two types of guys, and let's call them the success-oriented guys and the PUAs. One thing you'll notice separating these two types of guys is other wins in their lives. For success-oriented guys, daygame is just yet another thing they're learning in their lives. They've done other things before, maybe built a successful business and have learned to have a good work-life balance by going to some surf trips a few times a year. Maybe on top of success in their career, they're also avid gym goers and look accordingly. Somehow wanted to become digital nomads and figured out how to structure their business to be able to do so. And then they decided they wanted to improve their dating lives too, and usually succeeded in doing it. Sometimes the PUAs, the pickup artists, appear to be the same, but in reality, they're pretty unhappy people. They work jobs they're not passionate about, usually don't have any other big achievements in life, and now they've decided they'll learn to meet cute girls, and they find a way to do it in a technical, step-by-step way that almost anyone can learn. And you know, some percentage of them actually succeed. Finally, they are good at something in life. Finally, they're good with women, this thing they couldn't crack all of their lives. And every new lay gives them this huge boost of confidence, and not getting laid makes them question themselves and their value in the society. Well, it might sound like, well, if you're a successful guy, you'll do better in day game and you're a cool dude. And if not, well, you're a loser who has a low chance of succeeding in day game. Well, partially true, but not really. It's all about the mindset. I've met guys for whom day game was the inspiration they needed to start changing their lives. But how can you tell these two types of guys apart? Well, I've noticed you can tell a lot by how their life looks after they've gotten good with girls. The success-oriented guys, even if learning to meet girls was the thing that got them started on them living a life in a way that makes them excited to wake up in the morning, even if that was the first inspiration they got. A few years after learning to chat up girls, their life looks different. Once they solve that it's possible, they ask themselves, well, if I could do this thing which I never thought to be possible, what else can I change in my life? And the pickup artists, well, very simple. Learning to meet many girls didn't change much in their lives. Sure, they have crazy stories to tell, and other guys who want to get laid and be like them respect them. But their lives still suck. A lot of them still work their shitty, okay, maybe high-paying, but shitty jobs they don't like, and most of their social life is talking with other PUAs. And the success-oriented guys won't hang out with them because in their eyes, these PUIs are just losers who are really good with girls. Another thing you can look at is their attitude towards women. People who have just discovered Daygame and this wonderful new way of meeting women, they oftentimes understand the difference between Daygame and the old school pickup. You know, where guys would wear ridiculous outfits to stand out in a club, tell fake stories, and use a bunch of manipulative techniques to sleep with women. And they are 100% certain they are doing things differently. They're not like these old school pickup artists. But at the same time, they're telling someone else's stories they learned from some YouTube video or a book. They're using fake techniques like strawberry field, the cube, Barnum statements, etc. They will lie about how long they are in a city for to avoid appearing like they're just trying to have a one-night stand. I've even met weirdos who lie about their name and where they're from, but those are extreme cases. If you think about it, all of this, even without the extreme cases, doesn't seem too different from the old school pickup artists. The success-oriented guys, on the other hand, put their values about the importance of getting yet another notch, and at the end are still doing better with women than the PUAs. I've never heard any of these guys lie about how long they're in a city for, give an illusion that the girl has a chance to end up in a relationship with them if that's not the case. Of course, they have clever answers to questions, what are you looking for? But they won't lie about their intentions to get yet another lay, and still, on average, these guys do much better in Daygame than the PUA type. Instead of using Daygame to pretend to be someone they're not, they've built their seduction skills around their real personality, and they're using Daygame to deliver their sexual market value to girls. Next, let's talk about the quality of girls both types of guys go out with. The pickup artist's self-worth is based on getting more girls, and oftentimes, because of that, they end up sleeping with girls below their standards. I'm not girls that are ugly, but girls they know they will not want to see again, and girls they won't want to show their Daygame buddies. Their standards are lower. Of course, don't get me wrong, there are exceptions. There are some really good PUAs with higher standards, but on average, the PUA type will sleep with lower quality girls than the success-oriented guys. Very often, these PUAs, they learn to do well with beautiful women, with okay women, yeah? But they hit a ceiling and they reach a point where they can't understand how to start dating more beautiful, more interesting women. They just can't figure it out because it's impossible to do that for most guys, for almost all guys, with that attitude. Again, of course, with exceptions. The success-oriented guys usually have higher standards. Of course, if they don't have a lot of dating experience, they have to start somewhere. But as soon as they've learned how to chat up girls, they will quickly start going out only with girls they really like. Not just in terms of looks, but also in personality. I've heard so many stories similar to she was super hot, but she kept talking about how her ex was this Bulgarian gangster and she felt so proud about it, so I sent her home. Since they themselves are fairly successful in life, they're looking for girls who not only look good but are also smart and interesting. And once their skill level allows that, they'll not settle for less. There are exceptions, but after more than 5 years of coaching guys, I can tell you that the average success-oriented guy dates girls hotter than the average pickup artist. They are dating girls that got guys originally interested in Daygame. The next thing that separates these two types of guys is their language. The success-oriented guys have a mostly very positive outlook on life, and you will hear mostly positive things from them. The PUAs have a complicated relationship with women. Oftentimes they aren't getting laid or not getting laid with the girls they like and as often as they like. Or maybe that was the case in the past, but they are resentful. So they talk negatively about women, even if it's just things like using words like bitch and cunt, etc. in their Daygame stories. And don't worry, regardless of who you're dating, they'll find a reason why your girl isn't that great. They'll look at a movie star and comment, she's a 5, when they've never slept with a girl that's that hot. And lastly, let's talk about relationships. Not everyone is looking for a relationship, but the PUAs can seem to be able to start one even if they want to. They've learned how to sleep with women on their own terms by learning strong frame control and are sleeping with girls who are fine with it, but they never learn to communicate in a way where both sides get what they want. Of course, including some frame control. And even when they want to start a relationship, because of that, they don't seem to be able to do it. The success-oriented guys, of course, also have to learn good frame control, but once it works, they understand that you can't just keep imposing all the rules without taking into account what the other person wants. Girls love hanging out with them and will want a relationship with them. Oftentimes, they have to be certain, they have to remember to communicate with girls to make sure they're both on the same page and they're not breaking their hearts. But they could start a relationship pretty much whenever they wanted to. Most of the Daygame relationship success stories that I know come from these guys. But I will talk about the whole relationship topic more in depth on one of the future podcasts soon. I really love coaching guys to approach beautiful and interesting women, but at one point I noticed that there were students who really energized me, guys that I was always happy to hang out with whenever we were in the same city. Yes, I taught them how to meet a bunch of hot girls, but they taught me other things and I was inspired around them. That's when I realized that you can divide most of guys in two groups, PUAs and success-oriented guys. If you are one of the success-oriented guys, I am always happy to work with people like you. And if you want to be surrounded by other guys like that, join our private community. I can't control who joins my mailing list or who comments on my YouTube videos or anything else that's public. But there are no pickup artists in my private community. You can find out more about it by watching the video linked in description. That's it for this time, and I'll see you soon in a podcast episode about relationships. Ciao, guys.